Franklin, I'm excited to lead you on this fitness journey. You were inspired by your colleague to transform your health, but you know what? By starting and later completing this fitness and conditioning journey, I'm confident that pretty soon you will also be an inspiration to others. Now, I've prepared a very simple deck to give you an idea of what this journey involves. I've curated a 12-month fitness and conditioning program tailored just for you. Now, I believe it'll help you establish a good foundation in training and to build on it to progress to peak performance. You'll see through snapshots of the training program just how it's been designed in consideration of your health and your fitness assessments. The fitness assessment is quite comprehensive, as you can see from the slide. It takes into consideration your recent health assessment, your pre-participation screening, and your resultant medical clearance, as well as some fitness tests that assess various health and skill-related components of fitness, like strength, flexibility, agility, cardiovascular endurance, and so on. Now, I won't deep dive into the results of your health check. You probably know that it's not at the best at the moment, but that's okay. The main thing is to take note of the areas that are up for improvement. And that's the cholesterol check, your BMI, your body fat. All of this are quite interrelated. Your waist-hip ratio, your blood pressure, and especially your pain symptoms, your anterior knee pain and your lower back pain. Now, the results of this health assessment, coupled with the pre-participation screening, now given your sedentary lifestyle and especially your pain symptoms, they warrant a medical clearance. I'm really glad that that's something you took my recommendation up on, and you did that, and you've got the blessings of your healthcare professional to continue and to take on a fitness and conditioning program. Now, I've also asked you to do the fitness tests to assess different areas. Now, don't be disheartened by the results. I know they weren't the best, but that's quite normal for someone who is inactive and unfit. You do register a low score in each of these tests. But don't worry so much about this. It's my job and your commitment, and together we're going to fix that through this fitness and conditioning program. And also, I think we'll make sure that we'll monitor your target heart zone through the different exercises, the different phases, and base it on the Carbonance method, which basically takes into consideration your resting heart rate, okay, which is what your heart rate is at rest, and your heart rate reserve, which is the difference between your maximum heart rate and your resting heart rate. I've done up a periodization plan, an exercise program that's got 3 phases, and I'll give you a brief snapshot on each of these phases, which together mark your 12-month training program. Now, in the first phase, this is the foundation training that will kick off and run for about 8 weeks. As you can see in the slide, mesocycle 1 and microcycle 1. Mesocycle is in the first month and microcycle is in the first week. Right? So this is just a snapshot of what we'll be doing for the 8 weeks. These are hand-picked exercises that are ideal for someone who's deconditioned like you. Now, that's why I've chosen wall push-ups instead of floor push-ups, or wall sit for about 15 seconds instead of about 30 or 45 seconds, a modified plank instead of a full plank, brisk walking instead of running, just to start building your aerobic base. And during this phase, if you notice, there is no progression for any of these exercises. This is to give time for familiarization of these exercises, to give time for muscle adaptation, and also in view of the risks and to mitigate them in view of the current pains that you have, the anterior knee pain and the lower back pain. Now, these exercises together in the foundation phase will build exercise confidence, and the gentle mobility work will help to lubricate your joints as well. All of these exercises, best of all, can be done safely with a relatively low to moderate rate of perceived exertion. Now, after about 8 weeks, we're going to transition into sport-specific phase over weeks 9 to 12, where I will scale up the intensity and complexity of the exercises. I'm going to start introducing movements and creative recovery methods that are helpful for golf and tennis. They're helping you to progress safely and steadily in strength and in skill. Now, the difference between the foundational phase and this sport-specific phase is that your target heart rate zone will be higher on average, about 70 to 80% which will be up from 50 to 70%. Now, this also translates into a higher rate of perceived exertion, moderate to high, as compared to previously in the previous phase, which was about low to moderate. And a number of these exercises in the sport-specific phase will also have weekly progression as well. Now, increases of weight, for example, from 0.5 to 2 kilos, increase in volume, like more repetitions, increase in range of motion, or in complexity, or time under tension. Now, all of these are coming in different measures for the different types of exercises. And there'll also be introduction of interval training with specific work to rest ratios, and also explosive weighted exercises. For example, the medicine ball rotation throw, where you'll be developing a bit of your anaerobic systems. Now, while the sport-specific training will further improve your hand-eye coordination, hip rotation, and hone your stability with foot, forehand, and backhand patterns as well. Now, there's more to the exercises that I've listed, but I've just included for this presentation another additional page here so that you can see a little bit more of an extension of what you had seen earlier under sport-specific exercises, just to give you a bit of an extended snapshot. All right. Now, after 11 weeks of training, you would have transformed from a deconditioned individual to someone capable of near athletic performance. Now, being involved in activities that will demand a higher target heart zone, which will basically mean a higher rate of perceived exertion at intensities that would have been dangerous had you attempted these at the start. Now, there would be in this phase, the peak phase, a greater progressive overload given the extent of weights used and the introduction of really interesting exercises like the hex bar deadlifts, and even plyometric progression. For example, week 45 might be lateral bounds continuously, week 46 split jumps plus lateral bounds, week 47 diagonal bounds with rotation, and week 48 multi-directional reactive jumps. These are for your sport plyometric exercises. I've also introduced supersets with push and pull combinations, as well as multimodal training comprising of bike, row, and run rotation, just to mix it up and make it interesting for you. Now, by that, I'm going to push you into reactive training through random pattern calls, visual audio cues as well, compound movements, superset of course, and complex vocal patterns as well. Reaching intensities that are suited, I believe, for tennis and golf participation. There's also, again, more to the exercises listed. This is just page 2 of the full list of peak exercises, just to give you that extended snapshot, similar to what I did for the sport-specific phase. So you can see the fitness and conditioning program has different elements built into it, and that actually constitute the best principles of training, transforming someone from that baseline of an unfit status to someone who's ready for sport. In your case, ready to play tennis and golf safely, recreationally. So here I've applied different principles of training in the curation of your fitness and conditioning program, bearing in mind your individuality, your specific injury and pains, your specific health assessment and fitness assessment, and also putting into place, just to make things interesting, variation, so that you don't ever get bored through this course of the 12-month program. You know, gradually conditioning you from body weight to resistance bands to dumbbells and so on, with different movement patterns and the different types of exercises in the different phases, and also introducing sport-specific exercises, so that there's an element of specificity and, of course, progressive overload in the course of this training program. I'm glad that you can commit to that frequency as well of 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, with which builds in rest in between time as well. And with that also, we have something that's progressive, not only from the overload, but also from the exertion and in your VO2 max as well, from 50 to 70% to right up to about 85 to 90%. All right, so it's going to be really interesting, and you can see it's been put together with the best practices. These are my contact details. As you know, it's a bit of a countdown, all right, to just get you excited about what lies ahead, because we really want to celebrate your next step together. And this is where when you start, no, I believe you can go all the way and see this program through. You're just one rep closer to greatness. Gonna feel the burn, trust the process, love the results, all right, and just celebrate a new you. So let's go.